Hello and welcome to the Roughneck Minute, a movie by minute podcast where we go over the movie Starship Troopers 1 minute at a time. I'm your host Johan.
And I'm your host Matthew.
And we are at minute 118. It begins with some reckless gun discipline and ends with saying Zim got the bug. So yeah, anybody that's out there, if you own a firearm or you plan on owning a firearm, do not shoot your firearm directly into the air in a 90-degree angle to your head.
It's going to come down.
Yeah, or 180 degrees directly from the ground. Because Ace shoots it also like right by his ear and directly up. That thing is going to come right down and maybe hit Carmen, but you don't do that, especially in a crowd. Jeez. Have some common sense, people. You all went to the military. You're still in there. You don't do that.
And this kind of just reminds me of the end of the movie Jarhead, where they're all like, I haven't even shot my weapon. He's like, well, now's, better do it now. You ever seen that movie?
Trying to think if I did.
Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah, no. I don't think I saw it.
It's an okay movie. I like it because I'm into pretty much any war movie where it seems somewhat realistic and they're like pretty much screwed over all the time. And yeah, he had like to spoil the movie that's been out for about 10 years now. They're scout snipers, but it's the beginning of the Persian Gulf War, the first Gulf War. And they find out that, hey, this war is going to move way too fast for scout snipers to even do anything. So finally they do get a mission to assassinate or kill a corporal or some kind of officer. And then once they get to it, unfortunately, a major comes by and sets up a lawn chair because he's going to call in an airstrike instead. And they ask, hey, well, can't we just take the shot? And he's like, no, you're not firing your weapon. You stand down. And they get mad because the whole entire engagement, they didn't even fire a shot.
Oh.
It's a decent movie, but it was just more like the monotony of waiting and not being able to do anything.
Oh, okay.
Like the whole entire war was blue balls for them, basically.
All right, I guess. Yeah, because the movie I was thinking of with Jake Gyllenhaal was Source Code, which is completely different, but he was a former military man there too. So, PSA out there, do not shoot your gun directly into the air.
Please.
Yeah, it's just not a good thing. So Carl and his cronies start walking away. Denise Richards catches up to him with Rico. And there's some pretty rambunctious people dancing in the background, which some of them are really giving it to, they're just chewing it up in the scenery, which is kind of awesome. I like that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy doing a couple hip thrusts.
Oh, yeah. They're super happy.
Yep. There's a guy there without his helmet, even though they were shooting bullets in the air, which looks like he's still doing at this point.
Yeah.
It's just still bugging me, all right? Don't do that, people. It is so stupid. But so this is a part where it kind of lets out the secret that that Carl can talk to people, or send,
at least implant.
Implant suggestions to people.
Mm-hmm.
So here was the other thing that that kind of happened in the screenplay that didn't make it to the movie. Rico willingly confesses to the other general there that he broke mission command, and basically saying that he's ready to face his crime, which was apparently a hanging.
Mm-hmm.
And they turn to Ibanez because she is a higher ranking officer, and he says, is this true? And she says yes. She throws him under the bus. This is the one time you probably could have saved his life, considering he saved yours. But then Carl comes in and he says it was a psi mission.
Yeah.
And then he goes, okay, so carry on. So Carl's the one that ends up saving Johnny's life.
No.
Yeah. So, yeah, Carmen was going to throw him under the bus, like, real fast. Probably to preserve her rank. But yeah, that was one thing that was different in the screenplay versus what was on script, is because Johnny does the right thing, and he basically says, like, I did this to... Or I just broke command. He didn't get into, like, what it was that he did or why he did it, but he just comes out and says it. And then when they ask Ibanez if it's true, she immediately throws him under the bus.
Yeah.
Which is pretty jacked up, considering he saved your life. Anyway, so that's like one of the last things about the screenplay that actively changed in a movie. Since, like we said, we are nearing the end here.
Yeah.
So Carmen says that every time they get together, things seem to... like, good things happen. She smashed her collarbone. Okay. Yeah, they saved the bug. The other time that they got together where good things happened was Diz's funeral. You did see... Medic! Like, I'm sorry. Not all good things happen when you're together.
Well, I mean, that other girl died, and, she's kind of competition, and it's better that she's gone, isn't she? Because now I can still manipulate Johnny.
Yeah, we had a very good funeral. It was fun, right?
I brought my rum chata, and it was great.
I mean, we didn't have balloons, but we saw someone drifting into space.
And
That's the same.
Yeah, I mean, it was all paid for. It was a really lovely ceremony. I mean, we had an after party. I did a couple lines off of Xander. It was great.
Well, in the screenplay, Xander was probably prepping to leave. So, in a movie, she probably was doing a couple lines off Xander. She was doing some Xans off Xan. Hey! Alright. Yeah, so I was paying attention to this, that she did finally not use the arm that was horribly damaged. She's only using her right arm. Or I don't know if a part of me thinks, like, okay, she has her right arm over Carl's shoulder, and she's probably trying to hold hands with Johnny, and Johnny keeps batting her hand away. He's like, stop doing that, stop it. So they're marching along, and it seems like Carl is the one person that's pretty optimistic about the end of this conflict, because he says if they can analyze a bug, that they can learn how to beat them. And I'm pretty sure this is not on a weapon level, because even though we do get that now they have some sort of military intelligence at this point, which the bugs used on them. They used their military intelligence against them, but probably weren't as what is the word I'm trying to think of? Well, basically they couldn't analyze it as well as they would with the bugs, or I think that they're assuming. Mm-hmm. Because the only thing that we've seen them do is where they called a fake rescue, and they just mauled the crap out of the Roughnecks.
Yeah.
Whereas now they can try and figure out how Bug City is shaped, how each colony moves from one planet to the other, how basically just anything could figure out. Well, theoretically, the bugs think more simply. I think that it's something to go on, whereas the humans are supposed to be in the movie more complex in their way of thought. That all they can do is try and trap the humans and not think that they can escape.
You want to hear something really depressing that kind of negates the whole entire end of this movie?
No, but I guess you're going to tell me.
In the third movie, it's learned that the brain that they still have, which is the same brain, actually let itself be captured so it can relay back information.
Oh, yeah.
That it's still psychically connected to the collective or whatever it was, and it's just relaying back information and everything, so...
Yeah, I forgot about that. That thing was... I thought that was a horrible cop.
It really was.
A horrible cop-out. Like, hey, remember the first movie? This is something from it, right?
Oh, it just basically meant that it was there to show, hey, the bugs aren't that dumb. They're really, really smart.
Yeah, so you might as well get to religion because that's the only way you can beat them.
It's viable.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a good thing, but it is. You rally around. You tell your soldiers that you're going to live forever in heaven after you give your life up. To defend the human race. Of course, yeah, people are going to be like, sure, why not? We're not going to get into religious politics and everything in this podcast. I mean, we're way too late into this podcast to even do that. But yeah, I mean, it's a good way to get people who are under you to follow you and do what you say.
I guess, but it just felt like a horrible cop to use a device in a successful movie.
Yeah.
So other than the fact that Ibanez is not right, that this was that every time they get together, good things happen. It's one of the lines that made me think that okay, so there wasn't supposed to ever be a franchise of this film, and it was probably just supposed to be a one-shot by leaving it kind of open.
Mm-hmm.
Because Carl says that one day this will all be over. And then you see it in the third movie, not necessarily the second movie, but it's kind of still not over at this point. Just re-listening to this line and then knowing what happens in the future, just like, it just seems like those other movies weren't even supposed to happen. And theoretically, you can... Well, we're going to do it. We're going to pretend like those movies did happen and don't do a minute by minute about it. I mean, good ups on the other people that do, like the folks at the Star Wars Minute, the folks at the Mission Impossible Minute. They're going through the entire franchise, which is good because those are good franchises to keep on. But
I mean, they may have one or two stinker. They may have like one stinker, and they're like, I know Jonathan is not really interested in doing number 2, but they're going to do it anyway because 3, 4, and all the other ones are really, really good. But in this case, this is the only really good movie. The second one's horrible. The third one's passable.
Yeah. The second one definitely wasn't. Second one shouldn't have happened. I'm sorry. Even though I liked how everybody was involved, it wasn't a spy film anymore. Like, not so much. It was just very much supposed to be an action movie with spy elements. And I didn't like that.
Yeah.
This was like a thing for me when this movie came out. This was the big spoiler that, like, when I was telling people not to watch it, I never mentioned this because to me, this was a big deal. Was finding out that Zim caught the bug and Zim was still around.
Mm-hmm.
As naive as I was when this movie came out, I didn't think that they were going to call back on him, even though there's clearly a scene where he says he wants combat.
Yep.
How did you take this portion of the film?
I was like, oh, cool, he's back.
Yeah.
That's pretty much
it. That's how I was. I was just like, oh, Zim, I like him.
Mm-hmm.
He's Clancy Brown is such a good actor. And his character was so good that it was so rad to have him back. Like, it makes sense that Ace is excited about it. Johnny, he's trying to keep decorum by not being too excited about it. But it's just weird when Carmen kind of gets involved in it because she has no idea who this person is.
Nope, she never went to that boot.
No. So, I don't know why she's the one to break eye contact like, oh yeah, I recognize him. No, you don't. You've never seen him before. I might be reading too much into this, but it doesn't make sense that she would immediately find out who it is, and then they reveal he's being lifted up onto their shoulders.
Yeah.
It should be lift up on her shoulders, and she's looking at Zim. So I wonder if this is another mess up by Denise Richards, because obviously she read the script, she knew who he was, obviously, and she let that kind of bleed onto the film. Because you kind of have those moments where you're just like, why did certain people do that take that way? And I think this is definitely one of them. Like, it's not the best choice.
At this point, I'm willing to believe anything about Denise Richards messing up.
that we've had too many examples to say like, you know what? Yeah, she probably did it.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me that, Denise Richards was going to South Dakota, but she accidentally went to North Dakota because she just thought it was in the same area, I'd believe you.
Yeah. Now that you say that, dang it, I could believe it too.
Yeah.
This is kind of where that minute ends, is where Jake is just Jake seems to be really excited to be reunited with someone that I think possibly made him a better person.
Mm-hmm. By throwing a knife into his hand.
Well, not only that, but he realized what his potential was. Being under Zim, if he wasn't under Zim, do you think Ace could have floundered on his way trying to get to the top? I just think that like everything that happened at Boot and the first invasion made him realize that I think if he was possibly under somebody else that didn't scrutinize him as well, like go like, okay, I'll stand behind you if you want to try and rise to the ranks. They immediately set him down that he realized like, oh, I'm actually not that great. And he came to peace with that and just embraced it, and he became that better person as a whole about it.
Yeah.
Because I just think it's a little bit different in this world versus our world, where just you're granted citizenship. That it doesn't mean that like if you rose in the ranks, you're going to be getting like more money, etc. They're just kind of glad to be citizens and fighting for their race. So I think he just kind of realized like, oh, I don't have to rise in the ranks, and I'm actually pretty happy just being a citizen or granted citizenship and rising just being a stronger person as I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why he's excited to see Zim. Plus, he probably knows that Zim is a better soldier than him too.
Yeah, I could get behind that.
Really, that's where it ends. Is where Ace gets in Johnny's face and he's like, Zim got the bug. So, and Clancy Brown, he's real happy to be the hero because, god dang it, he is. He is a hero. I like Clancy Brown.
He does a good Lex Luthor.
He does a good Clancy Brown. He's like, if there was ever to be a Clancy Brown to be epitomized and like this guy's going to be at the forefront, he's doing a great job at it.
I mean, that's like telling me that, Mark Hamill does the best Mark Hamill.
He does, actually. Have you seen other people trying to imitate him? Not as good. He does a really good Mark Hamill.
You know who does a really good Michael Caine?
Who does good Michael Caine?
Michael Caine.
Ah, so everybody's on Michael Caine.
Yeah.
All right. Michael Caine. I am not saying Michael.
I'm saying Michael.
I am not. All right. So do you have anything else you'd like to add to this minute, Matt?
Not this particular minute.
All righty. So where can they find you at?
You guys can find me at AltTabMatt pretty much anywhere on the internet, from Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, what have you.
And you can also find me on Instagram and Twitch at JDASHD26. You can also find me on Twitter at OMGIt'sJohan. Actually, a little bit earlier, Matt was playing Space Engineers, one of his favorite games. You can also follow the show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Podcast Addict. Please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to, you can also visit our website at theroughneckminute.podbean.com, where you can see our show notes and back episodes. Especially if you just recently caught on to the show, possibly someone recommended this show to you, you can listen to our back episodes over there. You can follow us on Twitter at roughneckmin, that's MIN. You can continue the conversation on our Facebook group, the Roughneck Minute Billet. If you have any comments about Carmen, in a negative sense, they are more than welcome. In a positive sense, very scrutinized. I've been your host, Johan.
I've been your host, Matthew.
And we'll see you on the Bounce Troopers.